Hello, everyone. This is Demetrius Curry coming to you with W Squared AV Talk for Financially Fit Fridays. Guys, it has been a very busy week. Welcome to W Squared AV Talk Financially Fit Fridays. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited that we have a chance to talk today. This has been an amazing week in finance, right? And I am so excited that I get a chance to talk to you because I want to bring to you some information for specifically for our landlords today in the real estate market. We have been working with several of our clients over the last few months. And as we enter the beginning of the spring, I'm telling you guys, it has been very interesting out here in this real estate industry. But all in good fun, right? So, first and foremost, if this is your first time joining us, please make sure that you connect with us, okay? With the Instagram Demetrius underscore Curry page. And then also you want to connect with us on YouTube, right? Make sure you connect with us on YouTube as we continue to roll out more and more content to you on Financially Fit Fridays. And sometimes we actually have different speakers come in on different areas of finance, such as your insurance, such as real estate. How about budgeting? Also, talking about making sure that you're able to know exactly what to do in your financials on, creating other streams of income, cash flows, all those things that we talk about here at Financially Fit Fridays. Okay. So today we want to zone in on a few things. Last week we talked more about what to do about making sure that your family knows exactly where to find your legal documents, right? Now, in this area, which is a very sensitive area for me, for our Facebook and Instagram family that's watching us live at this time, is that you want to make sure that your family knows exactly where to go to find your important documents. So we talked about that last week, and today we want to zone in more on another area of financially fit in your portfolio, and that is building up assets of real estate. So specifically today, we want to actually zone in on what you're doing as a landlord when you're out there trying to find properties that make sense for you. Okay. One of the things that we have found just in this week and talking with our new clients, maybe some existing clients that's coming back for another purchase of another property, is that they're running into some difficulties on figuring out the scope of work that they need for that particular type of property. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about cash flow. And we're going to talk about how important that is to have those cash flows coming into your book of business. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Come on in. Hello, Miss Chris. How are you? Want to say welcome to everyone that's coming in. We see Miss Woodrin on Oyster. Oh, if I say that right, on Instagram. Welcome, coming in. Miss April, thank you so much for joining us today. So as you guys continue to come in, I just want to actually zone in on a few things when it comes to collection of those particular types of scopes of business, scopes of work, what to do in finding out what type of property that you're looking for as a landlord, right? Okay, so let's just talk about it. Let's say that you are a landlord that is trying to do a long-term rental, a single family home resident. And in that single family home resident, you're trying to can actually be 6 months, 12 months, or 24 months, right? It can actually vary, right? And how long that tenant is inside your property. But on essentially, we're talking about 12 months or more as a tenant, right? If you're looking to put someone in a property, long-term rental, and then you're going to purchase that particular property, but first it needs renovations. First, you need to find out what is the scope of work that property is going to need. Is it going to need a lipstick approach where you're only putting in maybe some new floors or possibly some new cabinets? Maybe you're just doing some painting outside to make the landscape look good and the exterior look well. How about maybe you want to change some of your fixtures, your faucets, or does it need something in more detail like a HVAC system or a new air conditioning system, or does it need anything additional to that you are not anticipating that you need? How do you find this out? And what you want to do is, and I always send my clients with a spreadsheet with them, with their contractor to say, hey, this is the itemized listing of what I need you to be looking for. I need you to be looking for roof damage. I need you to be looking for HVAC system not working properly. We need to look at if you need to put in insulation in the walls. We need to see if it actually needs new walls taken down or put up. All those things need to be taken into account when we're talking about the scope of work that particular property is going to need. Why is that important? When you are actually trying to get a new property to lease out to a tenant. Well, this is the reason why. When you purchase a property, and we are actually working with you to get that property financed, then you have what you call a construction loan. And you can do the construction loan, or you can actually do a loan where they put in the renovations into that particular loan. And then they disperse out the funds to you along the way while you're actually getting those things renovated. A lot of times we can call these bridge loans. And in those bridge loans, it will allow you to actually do renovations to a property 6 months, 12 months, even up to 24 months, depending on how big of a project it is, right? That's going to be important for you to know the scope of work that you're going to need in this property, because you need to know how much of a loan you're going to need to roll into your financing. And if you know how much of renovations you're going to need, let's say that you need $50,000 or $100,000 in renovations, then that tells us that scope of work, that spreadsheet that you went to the property using to find out what you need in this property to make it attractive to tenants. That's what's going to help you make that decision of how much money or how much of a loan you're going to need in that particular property. Now, let me tell you, when you're dealing with these kind of numbers, let's just get a good example of that. Let's get a good example. Let's say that you have $50,000 that you're put into renovations for this property. You're putting in new cabinets, you want to put in a new roof, you want to do several different things. They're going to roll that thing over into your loan. When they disperse the loan, they now have financed the loan for you. You are now a new landlord, and it's in your business name. Congratulations. You are a new business owner of a single family residence that you're going to lease out as a long-term rental or possibly a short-term rental. Okay. You're going to have those renovations being done within that window of time that your contract says it has to be done. That means 6 months, 12 months, or 24 months. Now, in that time frame, while you're actually doing your renovations, you're looking for good management. You're looking for a good team to manage your account. You're going to manage it yourself? Excellent. You want to make sure that you know how to put in great tenants, right? Now you have the tenants there. And now that income flow is going to actually start coming in for you. This is what we call a cash flow property to the landlords. Cash flow properties are amazing properties to have, because what they can do is they can pay for the mortgage of that property, which means your tenant is paying for the mortgage of your property, and anything above and beyond that you're charging on your rent, okay, is yours to take as a profit into your business, which you can use into your business for your next project, or even for putting to the side as reserves for additional things you want to do that property later. Let's use this for an example. Let's say that you have $115,000 property. Let's say a small property. You say $115,000 property. Then you finance the property, and then you actually put in a tenant there. Now, the mortgage may run between $700 to $800 a month if you actually have a pretty good credit score in the 700 range. Let's say about $700 to $800 a month maximum. you can actually rent that particular property out in that area based off of the rents in the area. And if the rents in the area comes back as an assessment anywhere between $1,200 to $1,500, then that gives you an idea of how much profit you make per month on that particular property. That is a cash flow property and a long-term structure. But let's say that you are trying to do a short-term rental, like an Airbnb or a Verbo. And that gives you even additional options of what you can charge on a month-to-month basis. Just for an example, we have a client now that did something very similar to this, grossing $4,000 to $5,000 a month in that particular same size property. Okay, but instead of doing a long-term rental, they opted to do a short-term rental Airbnb. That is magnificent in the cash flow basis. But the reason why we're talking about this right now, as far as Financially Fit Friday, is because before you even get to the finish line of putting a tenant inside of the property, I need you, the landlords, I need those people that are working with you in contracting to give you a significant, detailed scope of work of what it's going to take to get that property up and going, so you can start off with a great foundation. A great foundation as a landlord. And if you don't have that foundation of knowing, okay, this is what it's going to take, you can find yourself in a position where you have actually bit off more than you can chew. Okay, what does that mean? That means that, let's say that you go into buying a property and you did not get it assessed. You actually went in and you undervalued what you was going to need to put into it. You thought that maybe you could put in just some cabinets, maybe, change some fixtures, possibly update the floors with some laminate or some LVP or whatever, right? Let's say that you decided to do that. But when you got in there, because you didn't get a professional assessment with a contractor or someone that is really, really experienced and looking at properties, you can find yourself in a position where you've actually got a property that's going to require more work. And what happens in those cases? That's when you have to get creative. You have to start getting creative on creative financing. If you did not add that into your initial financing, we'll end up having to do things like working capital, finding other means of income to help you find monies to pull that together. So working capital in your business, lines of credits, things of that nature, business credit comes into play right there, where you're going to need additional monies to make sure that you have enough to complete your project. So this is why we're talking about Financially Fit Fridays, right? In the realm of landlords and real estate today. Because what we're finding is that that scope of work being looked at by your contractor and with you as a landlord is very pivotal in making sure that your foundation is right when you walk into a brand new loan with your particular project. Okay, so you're walking into a loan with the project, you telling them that you need to get some renovations done, but you got a great scope of work done with your contractor. Now you know exactly what you're going to need. Yeah, you may find some stuff that you didn't know. You may take down a wall and see that something needs to be fixed. That happens in construction. That happens a lot. But for the most part, 90% of what you thought had to be fixed was accurate. That's where you want to go. You want to make sure you have that as accurate as possible, because when you get to your broker, such as me, when I get to your scope of work and I look at your scope of work, I'm going to say, hey, let's look and see what we got. Okay, looks great. Did you get that looked at? Wonderful. The contractors that's going to be working with you, are they licensed and permitted? Excellent. Now that we have all that together, we're submitting this to the lender with your scope of work for underwriting approval. And once we get that underwriting approval, now we're saying, hey, we can move forward. We're going to fill out disbursements to the buyer, to the landlord, to say, hey, once these things are completed, if you're doing a construction loan, once these things are completed, we're sending you out disbursements. We're coming in and we're making sure it's all done. And now that you have that thing done, what happens after that is gravy. It's what we call an ARV valuation. And that after renovation valuation gives you additional equity into your property. And that's the part that we love as landlords. We love to have that additional equity built up into that property, right? Because now we can use it as equity we can get against later as a line of credit. We can look at it as being extra money that we can look at all day, every day to get some additional things done with the property later on, right? And then in addition to that, it also helps you with making sure that when you get ready to rent out this particular property, that you're getting the most bang for your buck, that that value is there, right? So just keep in mind, landlords, that when you're out and about and you're looking at properties, it's not that just when you're looking at properties online, we're talking about when you have a walkthrough. When you have a walkthrough to assess if this particular property is going to work for you, then that's when you make that decision. I've actually seen clients walk away from properties because when they did a walkthrough with their contractor and they realized that the HVAC system was non-existent, when they realized that the foundation was crackling and buckling underneath the property, when they realized that there were some things that would take them a whole lot of money to fix that they were not really trying to do. They were looking for more of a lipstick cleanup property approach. So it really depends on your risk. It depends on how much of a project that you really want. And if you're willing to put in the work to make sure that project gets exactly where you need it to be for the evaluation that you needed to have. And that's going to be where you need to understand that if you're going to do a long-term rental versus a short-term rental, the profitability in those type of loan structures are significantly different. Okay? That's where we come into play as your broker, and we walk with you on how to find the best bang for your buck. So just wanted to stop by. I know we did this in a quick 15 minutes, but I wanted to talk to our landlords today because this is the weekend. The landlords get out and about on the weekend and they look for properties. They look for their next set thing that they're going to do. They're like, hey, I'm going to go check out this neighborhood. I'm going to go check out this area. It's booming right now. We got some new locations coming in. We have some new department stores coming in. There's going to be some new REITs properties coming down the street, all that. They're looking for location, location, location on the weekends, right? So I wanted to stop by real quick, get a chance to talk to the landlords before you get out this weekend looking for additional properties. Keep in mind that when you see something that is attractive to you and you really love where it is, you love the location, you love the what you can do with it, you looked at the area, you've seen what the other properties are selling for, you know you can get some great evaluation. Now that you have all those things, you're working it out with your realtor, wonderful. Just keep in mind when you get ready to do your walkthrough, please get a real good scope of work of what it's going to take to bring that property up to where you want it to be for what you want to do with it. So if we're talking about long-term rentals, short-term rentals, even fix and flips, all of those things that you're considering doing with this piece of real estate, make sure that you're willing to put in what it's going to cost you to do that scope of work. And if you decide that you want to try to do a financing with that scope of work rolled into the financing, that is a thing. Yes, it is that you can roll the renovations into the financing. Then we can actually do a bridge or ARV to get you that type of monies to draft out to you in the meantime until the property is ready for tenants to be occupied in it. Okay, so just giving you some tidbits. Thank you guys so very much for being here with me on yet another Financially Fit Friday brought to you by W Squared AV Talk. Look, guys, if you're not connected with us on Instagram, please do so at Demetrius_Curry. And then also follow us on YouTube at Demetrius Curry as we continue to roll out more and more data to you on Financially Fit Fridays on all different avenues of income, cash flows, making sure you have your retirements in place, also making sure that you are knowing exactly what to look for and creating a great portfolio. Okay, so thank you guys so much for being here with us. Thank you so much, Instagram. Hey Willow, hello Herman, thank you so much for being here with us as well. We appreciate you. We want to make sure that you are up for success and everything is going in your direction. Okay, guys, have a great day, and I will see you again on yet another Financially Fit Friday next week.